Hey guys, hope you're all having a great day. So from the video that you just watched right there is what I have been working on since probably about the middle of February. It's been kind of a 2-month process to really get everything done that I've wanted to do so far, and we're also not finished yet. So this is just a kind of like a progress report on everything that we've done so far, and I just want to show you around the yard everywhere of kind of what my thoughts are, what the plan is for garden beds, and what's next to come. So starting off here, a lot of the beds ended up staying the same and they just got mulched over. This is a natural mulch that is not dyed or anything like that. It's basically just wood chips. So we have this here. This bed, now this actually ended up changing in a way that I wasn't expecting. Our neighbors actually cut down their forsythia hedge. They planted that hedge about 25-30 years ago, and in the last few years, like the entire time we've lived here, it just hasn't really bloomed much. So they knew that it needed a rejuvenation prune, so they cut everything down to the ground, probably about a foot or so. You can see what one of those plants looks like. So it's just kind of canes that are left, and we ended up mulching this entire hill, because this is about where the property line is between our two yards. And then we just extended this bed out this way. I have the 2 butterfly bushes, there's some tulips, there's echinacea, and I don't know if we're gonna add anything else for right now, but maybe a couple of things to kind of hide those panels. But if we swing over this way, I also made a bed over here behind these trash bins. We planted this limelight hydrangea tree, I think about 3 years ago or so. So it's just starting to leaf out for the season. However, we ended up making this whole bed here because the grass just doesn't grow all that well. You can see how compacted it's been from getting the mulch, because we have the mulch pile right there. But I have a few plants that are gonna go in this area, and it's just gonna clean this whole area up and give it some sort of a structure. You can see that there's an actual kind of walkway to walk through. So I just walked through the gate there, and this whole bed is not a whole lot different. We ripped out all the plants that were dying or invasive and just didn't look all that great. We haven't mulched anything yet. I think this is probably the last bed that we're going to mulch, but we'll use that same mulch. You can see how pretty this is right here. And we're also going to extend this bed out more. So a lot of the grass pieces that we took, we flipped them over and we just put them in areas where we were going to be getting rid of more grass, and it really does help keep everything down. But we've also been sheet mulching on top. So this bed is going to come out probably something like this. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do yet. And then we will mulch this whole thing, and then we'll also edge the whole thing here. But moving on from here, something that's really exciting is you can see this pad that is here. So the reason that this pad is right here is because there is a hot tub that is actually going to be going in here. And I think it's going in this week, actually. My mom has wanted a hot tub for a very long time, and thankfully we were in a place to do so. So it's going to be going in. We're going to do some gravel and a little bit of landscaping around here. Not anything too crazy, but let me show you the rest of the area. So this whole section will remain grass as a great entrance to get in, especially if we have to have a larger vehicle come in, because you can see how the gate opens. This area cut out is going to be where the pad is going to lay, and then the hot tub will go here. I'm going to make a flower bed back against the house right there, but we're going to have gravel here, which is the same gravel that actually is underneath the deck over here. It's just a 3/4 inch bluestone chip. So you can see kind of what this looks like. I like the look of it. I like a bluer, cool tone to it. And then this whole area, instead of having grass or anything, we just are gonna mulch it and then maybe add some plants in. If you remember from last fall, I planted these little lime hydrangeas. So these are starting to leaf out for the season. I think I wanna put a long stalk holly here. And then we also have the umbrella pine, which I did have to lift. And then there's the Russian sage here. But this bed is pretty much done at this point. This is kind of the last thing I was working on. And then this bed will continue this way, and it'll lead into the hot tub area. Before I show you the rest of the backyard, I'm just gonna walk through this way and show you this bed over here, because this definitely changed too. All we did was we extended it so that way it came out further. So where this gate opens up, you can see the end of this fence line. I think it's probably about 6 feet or so, maybe 5 or 6 feet. It comes out, there's just more room for all these plants to grow. And then we did a semicircle around this bed. This is a very geometric bed, but you can see kind of what this looks like. It just gives more room for all the plants and kind of takes out some more of that grass. And then same thing, we didn't have a straight edge here last year, so it just cleans up this whole space quite a bit. Now, if you see this bed here, there's no black mulch, or there is black mulch, there's no natural mulch. So we're gonna be removing some of this, and we're gonna put the regular mulch in so this matches with everything else. This bed primarily stayed the same. I just ended up mulching that, and we will head back to the backyard. So this is where I was talking about before. Let's take a look this way. This is going to be our tropical bed. So I have a few other plants, which I don't want to share yet because that'll be in a couple of videos very soon actually that I'll be planting. But there's hibiscus there, the hardy bananas, which those are already starting to pop up. And what we did was we just extended it out this way. In fact, I think we actually need to extend it out maybe another 2 or 3 more feet, probably to where that pole is. And then we just continued it this way because this was so much lower than everywhere else. The grass was kind of growing okay here, but this whole section is septic, so we really only can have grass here. So we're gonna do some sort of shrub here, or like a mixture of different shrubs, and then it came out to here because we planted this Kwanzaa flowering cherry, and then the roses, which the roses are not doing that well, but that's a different subject. And I also transplanted that hydrangea. So we're gonna fill this in with some other stuff. And then over here, the thing is, this is kind of like one big open space. In fact, you can see it better like that. So if we ever like entertain or anything, that's what this area is gonna be used for. But I wanted to kind of neck it down so you can kind of see this. I'll go back to a regular angle so you can kind of see this is what like my view looks like. And what I think this does is it helps kind of enclose the space a little more and give some direction. So it's a nice wide grass pathway that's gonna lead this way. But we have the birch tree, which we just lifted up. That was in the last video I posted. And then we extended the bed out this way to put something larger here and something middle-sized here. And then you can walk through here. This is all gonna stay as grass for now. And now this bed we haven't finished yet. So this is kind of like what a halfway process looks like. So we kind of cut where we want the perimeter to be. There's going to be an evergreen going here, and then I just have more of this. So this is still going to be layered with cardboard, then the mulch, and then we'll fill it in with plants. But this bed continues this whole way and then goes back to these arborvitaes. And then we're going to replace that black mulch with the natural mulch and then plant something in front of these arbs. So here's kind of a top-down look from the back of the yard. It just helps to get rid of a lot of grass. When we moved into this house, there was all grass in the backyard. There was not a single plant back here. And we've tried to at least incorporate a couple of plants throughout the years, especially bigger things. And we've had mild success with it. But this year, I really wanted to just go forward and do what I really wanted to do and at least establish the beds, let things sit, and then as I find plants, we're gonna put them in. There's some plants that I have here that I've kind of been collecting and maybe a couple others that I'll get throughout the season. I'm not gonna be doing a ton of planting this year, maybe just more foundational planting. And then adding in some other stuff in the future in the next couple of years. But the biggest thing for this year is to just get these beds in place and not have so much grass to cut. So with all that being said, I really appreciate you guys and your patience for me not posting a lot of videos or showing much about what's been happening here. But it's just kind of a monotonous process of doing the same thing over and over again for several months. And I just do it for an hour or two after school or after work whenever I get time to. But we're finally getting somewhere now. Like we're really starting to wrap up this project. We don't have too much more left to do. And now I'm gonna actually start planting. So I hope you guys like this video. Let me know if you have any other questions or comments down below. And I will see you in the next video.